they formed this thing called the Green River Task Force. They would actually get female detectives, dress them up as prostitutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a real thing. They tried that shit. I think this is the first time in history they tried it.
Oh no. Welcome to Talk Murder to Me. Me.
Let's get the sound of this pouring shot.
Jen, did you like that reverb effect that I put in the thing for you?
Thank you.
So, this cocktail is looking quite colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a sip.
The hint tonight was green. So we are drinking green haze cocktails.
That's actually pretty good.
I like it, but I don't like the blue curacao in it. That is the flavor.
Yeah, it's
It tastes a little
that.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Is that all
Yeah.
it is? Is that and pineapple juice?
No, it's rum, blue curacao, pineapple juice,
In Malibu.
Malibu, and a dash of sour mix.
Mm.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's bright green.
I feel like
No filter on this one needed.
No, it's like Kelly green.
Yeah, it's very bright. We have enough to make more. We have enough Midori.
I feel like I can drink like 10 of these.
Oh, we didn't say Midori. That's what it
Oh, Midori. Duh. There you go.
This is like Celtics green. I wonder how they're doing. They're playing the Pelicans tonight.
Oh, I gotta do
Where are
this.
the Pelicans?
New Orleans.
I've never heard of them before.
That's because they used to be the Hornets.
Ah, okay. That's probably why.
But they were the Hornets
Yeah.
after Charlotte was the Hornets. Now Charlotte became the Bobcats, and now they're the Hornets again because Michael Jordan wanted them to be.
I think that's weird that basketball, they changed the name. I feel like that's bad for franchising.
No, I think I'm usually very good about this stuff, but this one I'm not 100%. So the Hornets were originally in Charlotte, then the franchise moved to New Orleans, and then they put another team in Charlotte, which became the Bobcats.
Mm-hmm.
But then
I recognize that from One Tree Hill.
right,
Yeah.
but then Michael Jordan is part owner of the Charlotte they were the Bobcats because he's from North Carolina.
He went to UNC,
He
correct?
went to UNC, and
I only know that from Space Jam.
right,
We should watch Space Jam soon.
we should.
Oh, it's a great movie.
And so he wanted the team to become the Hornets again because that's how it was. So now the New Orleans team are the Pelicans.
But don't you think that's interesting? It's like, I mean, there's not a lot of sports teams in other sports where they change their name very often. I'm thinking like recently there was one in baseball, maybe kind of recently.
No.
Or maybe I'm thinking the fact that it was like a different city, something moved.
So yeah. So you might be thinking football because the St. Louis Rams moved to L.A.
Oh, I was thinking maybe it was something in California. Someone was L.A. and now they're something else. In baseball, maybe like the Dodgers.
No, I don't know about baseball, but the San Diego Chargers are now. Wait,
L.A. Chargers?
I think so.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And the Los Angeles Angels. You're thinking of the Angels of Anaheim.
That's it.
And
that's what I'm
also
thinking of.
The
Yes.
Oakland Raiders are potentially moving to Nevada.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
I feel like that's really weird for franchises though. Like when you're a fan, maybe it's just because maybe they don't have a lot of fans in those teams, but I feel like that's hard. And maybe that's just because where we're from, where the Red Sox have been the Red Sox
Since
for a
they were
long time.
Well, yeah, since they were the Braves.
Yeah,
They were the Boston Braves.
And I mean,
actually,
we were the Boston Patriots at one point, and
Yeah.
now we're the New England Patriots.
Well, fun fact, before Robert Kraft decided that he was moving the stadium, like keeping the stadium in Foxborough, the new Gillette Stadium, it almost went to Hartford.
I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah, me too. My aunt lives like right down the road from Gillette.
But I guess that kind of makes it more of a case then, like there's a lot of sports teams that have some controversy around their names, that if it's...
Like the Redskins?
Yes. Where maybe if it's not like teams do it all the time just because of people change ownership.
Mm-hmm.
They could change the name because it's a little sensitive.
Yeah. Or like the Cleveland Indians.
Yep.
But that's not as bad as the Redskins, I feel like.
Yeah, that's kind of a derogatory slang, so it's a little bad.
I mean, you know what they can do is they can keep the name Redskins and they can just change this mascot from a Native American to a football. Or you can change it to pigskin.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can be the Washington Pigskins.
Yeah. Make them winkers on the helmets.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Sports with a Z. Sports. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise. Grapefruit vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not drink that anymore.
You don't think
like
so?
that.
I like it.
I don't like grapefruit. I'm allergic.
What?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm about to start. I can already feel
Why did you are the one that bought the bottle? You're such a fucking liar.
You're being a dick tonight.
I am. We should start it over.
And I also know I owe myself a shot, so I'll go get myself a bottle.
Bring the bottle in for all of us. Which, by the way, thanks to our friends at 6 Mile Spirits for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you guys.
When I went in the other day, he was like, "Oh, we haven't seen you in a while." I was like, "Yeah, we're trying to kill our liquor cabinet." He's like, "That makes sense." And he's like, "I'm going to throw a little discount in there for you." So...
Isn't that nice?
6 Mile
That was,
Spirits.
remember he said, I told John, like they were asking,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't seen John in a while.
Yeah, he did. He was like, "I haven't seen John."
I went in there
while."
today and I walked in and like you remember the first times we had to
Keep, like, repeat
reminding him.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And first thing he says when I walked in was, how's the podcast? You guys recording tonight? And I was like, yeah, we sure
awesome.
are.
That's cool.
Yeah, those guys are great, man.
Yeah, I
Those guys
really
are
love
great.
them. They're awesome.
If you guys are from Charleston, if you guys live near the Mount Pleasant area and you buy liquor from anywhere else other than 6 Mile, don't go to 6 Mile. They're the best.
They're
telling you.
so nice, and they're like we made friends with them.
Yeah.
And not because we're in there all the time. They just are really good at remembering like who we are.
Yeah.
Because
And they listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So they're just really cool people, man.
They really are.
Are you kidding me? I ain't drinking Goldschlager.
Why not?
By my
also
fucking
a
self.
little bit in here.
Holy hell. All right,
Grapefruit or
pour it.
Goldschlager?
Reminds me of Superbad.
That's not real gold.
Can we finish another bottle? Yes, we
God
can.
damn it. Let's drink that shit. God.
Yes.
Well, this is
Man,
going to be
all
another Golden State Killer episode.
I mean, I'll trade you if you want.
No.
Is there another bottle that we can take shots of that is not full?
You mean that is close to empty?
Yes.
Let me look.
Wait, you don't take more shots?
I might.
Me too. Let's take
playing.
shots. You don't have to work till 11.
No, but I was going to wake up early and try to finish my paper. I was going to try to finish my paper tomorrow. It's probably not going to happen, but I was going to try. But yeah, I can take some shots.
How is that Goldschlager?
You know what
I feel like that girl on Superbad. Did you get my Goldschlager?
You know what I like about that grapefruit vodka is that it's kind of salty.
It does. It does have a little bit of salt in there.
Well, I put my balls in there.
Stop. That's fucked up.
If we got any
not even
fans out there that know.
Is there such thing as a penis doctor? We want to know.
I had a question today because Nicole went to her vagina doctor.
That's true. I
And
did.
I said,
We're getting real personal
is there
now.
anything as a penis doctor? Because I don't know any man that goes to see a penis doctor every month.
Well, I said, well, what do they do when they ask you to cough? Like,
Bend
what
over.
I mean, they
doctor
probably
is
just
that?
stretch it out
That's
a
a
little
prostate.
bit and ask you to
Yeah,
cough.
like,
That's
but
prostate. That's your boots.
Yeah, I know, but what kind of doctor is that?
A prostate doctor.
There
That's
you
your
go.
booty hole.
That's a man doctor.
That's not-
No, they cup your balls when they do it.
No,
don't
you
they?
do not. What the fuck? What are you been watching? They do not cup your balls.
Don't they? Don't they
And
cup your
slap
balls
your
and they
ass.
ask you to
Yeah,
cough?
come on, get it now.
Hey, you should tell the story about the lady who... No, don't they have to... Okay, so she had to stick her fingers up your butt?
What?
What?
Talking about?
She tried to check your prostate.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
don't know
told us
what
about
you're
that
talking
story.
about.
I remember that
She
story.
did it more than once. She liked your butt. She thought it was cute.
Do you want me to tell this story?
Yeah, tell that story. It's a really funny story.
On the air, we're live.
It's a really funny story.
I hope that I get a
We're
guy
the
that
number
has
one-
a cute butt.
Men only have prostates, correct?
I think so.
Right. That's why I'm assuming it's a man doctor.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing that women get checked for.
I know, but
We
like
get
you get your
colonoscopies.
vaginas
I
checked.
rue the day when I ever have to go get
You have a
colonoscopy.
genital
Yes,
doctor. We do not have a
correct.
genital doctor. We have a
All right,
prostate
but they're still
gland
checking.
doctor.
But they're still checking. They're doing something up somewhere.
Well, it's a good
Checking
thing that we
something.
have genital doctors because, like, there's a
There's
lot
a
of
lot-
stuff that
yeah.
can go on in there.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, so we got a new fan email last week.
Fan mail.
Bow, 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 bow.
So this one's from Jasmine Rodriguez. Hi, hey guys, I'm Jasmine with no E from Ocala, Florida, and I, in all caps, love your podcast. You guys make me laugh so much, and I love hearing about all the cases you cover. I went through all the episodes in no time and get so excited when I see a new one. I've recommended Talk Murder to me to a bunch of my friends, and they all loved it. Love you guys so much, and can't wait to hear what's next. Jasmine.
Jasmine, thank you.
Thank you so
Jasmine.
much, Jasmine.
Oh
for,
my God.
My grandmother actually lived in Ocala.
That's cool.
Florida, which was maybe we crossed paths when I was younger. I mean, it would have been more than 10 years ago because my grandmother passed away. R.I.P. Grandma. But there were a lot of horses there in
I
Ocala.
spilled this all over myself.
I also
Shit.
remember going to Montgomery Ward, and the first Cold Stone Creamery that I ever went to was in Ocala. But yeah, a lot of horses. My aunt. On my mom's side, so my grandmother's daughter lived in Marion, which is right down the road. So
Jasmine from Florida. Did you like
Another
the
Jasmine.
yeah, with
Did
no
you
Awesome.
did you like the lobster episode? And how far is that from?
Oh, yeah.
Where did that take place? That was
Jupiter. No.
Jupiter. Yeah, no, it was Jupiter. Jupiter, Florida.
Was
yeah.
it? No,
it was
that's
close to Jupiter, Florida.
It doesn't sound
Well,
familiar.
Jupiter is where the American Horror Story season took place.
Yeah, that's where this was.
Okay, well, Ocala is in the middle of the state. It's like 2 hours away from Orlando.
The Lobster Man.
So yeah, thank you so much, Jasmine,
Thank
for
you,
your
Jasmine.
email.
Yeah, but sign up to us on Patreon. We
Patreon,
got a couple
Jasmine,
episodes.
Patreon.
We'll do an episode just for you if you want us to do
Yeah,
something.
email John at Talk Murder, not Jen, and not
Jon, John.
Jon.
Jon at talkmurder.com. Tell me what you want to do. Most people that contact me want me to do a murder from their specific town or close by. So I'd love to go back down and do one in Florida just for you. So I told you guys tonight the hint was green. We're drinking a green drink, and I'm already on my second one, my second shot. Where are we going and who are we killing?
Canada, and someone gets killed over a marijuana war.
In marijuana in Canada? Oh,
Yeah.
like the new
It's
marijuana
legal
stuff.
there.
Yeah,
It's legal there.
yeah.
The hint was green, just to...
Yeah.
I think it has to do with envy. I don't know. I think someone is killed because they're desiring like someone else's wife and they can't have them.
Oh,
Coveting
it'd
thy
be
neighbor's
green.
wife.
I don't understand green.
You never heard you're green with envy?
I never heard that.
The
no.
green-eyed monster?
It's like
Remember the Berenstain
it's one
Bears
of one
book?
of the 7 deadly sins is envy.
Do you remember the Berenstain Bears book? Which actually, if you look at
I
the
thought it was the
spelling,
Bernstein.
it's Berenstain. It's spelled with an A. It's not spelled with an E, which is contrary to my total childhood upbringing. It's part of the Mandela effect.
What? What are you talking about?
The Mandela.
Nelson?
No,
Why are you talking about Mandela Nelson, Jen?
I'm not. I'm talking about the Mandela effect or Mandela effect, where you think it's one thing and it's like something totally not. Like how there was a movie called Shazam and there's not.
There is a movie called Shazam.
It's with
Nope. There's no such
Shaq.
thing. Nope.
No, that's Shaq Fu.
There's no such thing as the
Shaq
movie
Fu has
Shazam.
a Shaq.
All right, what is it, Jen?
I don't remember, but there's no such thing.
There is a movie
It's
called
on
Shazam.
fucking
Yeah.
Amazon right now.
It's not
I
real.
literally just watched it the other day,
You
Jen.
did not. You're lying.
No, I swear to God, it came on recently.
okay,
like,
Jen's
it
cut
automatically started playing after the
No,
movie.
no, no,
Jen,
no.
you're
Okay, all
cut
right.
off
Let me give
for
you
your
another.
drink.
Let me give you another
No more
example.
Because I'm
drink.
pretty sure there's a movie called Shazam.
So does everyone else think. It's
I need to look it up.
It's the Mandela
No,
effect.
do not get your phone. I am looking it up.
Okay.
Shazam, right there.
2019. It's not.
It is real, Jen. Shazam, right there. It's a TV series.
But Kazam is the movie?
Correct.
Kazam. What are you talking about, Jen? I don't understand what we're talking about.
All right. So the movie's called Kazam, not Shazam. We're wrong.
Okay, so
And
what does this got to do with anything?
It's
the Berenstein
Bears.
not the Bernstein Bears.
no, it's Berenstain.
No, it's the Bernstein.
It's not even Steen. It's Stain with an A. Anyway,
No, it's not.
Yes,
Steen.
Look it up.
Bernstein Bears.
Look it up if you don't believe me. Anyway, so the book about envy, and the brother bear turns green because he gets jealous of sister bear and like all her stuff. But
There you go.
it's Berenstain Bears with an A.
So that was a long way around it. So I think this takes place in Washington State.
Ooh, interesting. Because of the forests.
I just picked something random, but that was the first word association, yes, that came to my mind. And also the fact that marijuana is also legal there.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. It's also legal in Massachusetts.
Yeah. See? Another reason why we should go visit home.
I'm not going up there.
Jen. Okay, I'm going to say 1989. Where are we going?
We're going to... You guys sure you want to do this? I feel like you're not really into it.
No, we're only 3 shots deep.
All right. Kudos for you.
Why?
We're going to Seattle.
Wow!
So, yay for you.
Oh my gosh! How did you guess that?
I don't know. I
Very good.
truly only guessed it because of the marijuana thing.
So, I'm kind of buzzed. We're drinking green something.
Haze,
Green haze.
which reminds me of Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix.
I can sort of play that song.
You'll have to play.
Purple Haze.
I can play
in
the
my
opening
mind. Is it eyes or mine?
You have to play something for Ashley next episode.
I will. Ashley, you sent an email to one of these guys and asked if I could play some guitar. I'm not very good, but I'll try to make you something.
Oh, now you're fishing.
Am I catching anything?
Yeah.
Got $1.
Okay, Ashley, I'm decent, so I'll have to play something for you.
That was a large gulp.
Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about a true serial killer.
Ooh.
Not just a one or two type of guy. And what's different about tonight that we haven't done? Has everyone seen Silence of the Lambs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember how Hannibal the Cannibal teamed up to help catch Buffalo Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So that actually happened in real life.
What?
This serial killer was so prolific, and the detectives...
There's that word again.
Yeah, I know. The detectives were clueless. They consulted with someone with the same mindset.
When they were already in jail?
Oh.
Yeah, when
it,
they're already locked up. The reason they teamed up with him is because he could get into the mindset, and this guy was killing so many people.
What's his name?
So he said, listen, I've done this. I can get into his mind. My name is Ted Bundy.
What?
Yeah. No, wait. Ted Bundy is the consultant.
No way. I didn't know
Yeah.
that they used Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy was the consultant in this case because, and I'll get into it later.
What's the guy that I was thinking of, that movie, that series that we watched?
Mindhunter.
Yeah.
That's who I was just talking about. Edmund
Kemper.
Kemper.
No, but who's the killer?
Edmund Kemper.
Edmund Kemper.
He was the one with the high heels and...
No, I'm thinking of a different thing. The episode, we watched it right around Christmas time last year. In the mail. He did the thing in the mail.
Oh, BTK. Yeah, you're thinking of Mindhunter. You're thinking
You talking about Zodiac?
Krasinski.
Oh, Ted Krasinski? He's a Unabomber.
No. The mail guy. The one who put the bombs
Ted
in the mail.
Krasinski.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's a good movie, by the way.
That's who I'm thinking
We're going
of.
to cover him eventually.
Because wasn't he also a consultant?
The Unabomber?
I don't know. I haven't done him yet. All right, guys, let's
he
get started.
was.
So, we're going to Washington. I've never been. Have you been, Nicole?
I have been many times.
Okay, have you been around the Green River?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've been around the Green River. But
I don't know
I've been to
much about
Washington
it,
State
but I
many
know the
times.
Green River is a slow, meandering river. That
All right,
just
and all of a
ebbs
sudden,
and
Jen's
flows.
way caught up to us.
Ebbs and flows slow, unlike the way Jen's drinking right now, which is super fast.
That last one tasted like cotton candy.
All right, so we're going to August 15th, 1982. You were close, Nicole. You said 1989.
I said 2000.
I'm also finally starting to remember what I say. I have a problem where I don't remember the things that I say. Where like sometimes I'll say out loud, or I'm like, oh yeah, I said this, but it's actually the other thing that I was thinking. Like, you know how you will give two guesses?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I say things out loud, I know, but sometimes when I say like, oh yeah, I guessed blank, I'm actually remembering the thing, my second guess. And so I'll give you an example. When we were doing the last episode, at one point I said my guess was Kentucky, but I said, "Oh yeah, I guessed Tennessee." But that was in my head. That was my backup guess.
It's a thing,
but I couldn't remember which one I said out loud.
Exactly, it's a thing.
I just forget what I say.
It's not a thing, Jen.
It's a thing, and Nicole has experienced it.
Yeah, I forget what I say out loud all the time.
It doesn't matter. It's like
I don't know
you're
if
still
that's a
trying
sign
to
of
take credit
Alzheimer's.
for
I
it.
don't know.
No, it's different.
No. I don't. I just truly don't remember what I said.
No. It's different because you have when you're guessing something, you have ultimately you have a choice to make. So out of all the 50 states, you have to narrow it down to one and say it out loud. But for me, I narrow it down to two. I was like, it could be this or this, and then you say one.
But
thing.
you know what you ultimately decide. I'll say, oh yeah, I said Tennessee, but really I said Kentucky originally.
Okay, yeah, but it's
I
still the
can't
same
remember.
thing, except I know that
I've had this problem since I was a child.
you don't remember things.
What I say, I
had this,
don't remember what I say.
See, but I have this problem too, but it's also because of my multiple head injuries.
I have had no.
Multiple head injuries could mean you are an eventual serial killer.
Well, I hope not.
And you might be because you're under 31, and the guy we're
Not for
talking
long.
about tonight started at 31, so you still have a few years to go.
You know, listen.
But there's not a lot of female serial killers.
There are a
there
lot
are.
of female serial
just
killers.
Not
haven't covered
nearly
any
as
of them.
many.
You guys just do a more niche. You kill like babies and your husbands and stuff. So you're not really serial killers unless you're killing like 10 husbands. But
like Kate Bender,
Or Granny.
her mom, Nanny Doss. Remember Nanny Doss?
Her pies.
obviously, I'm not going to go through all of these victims. How many victims? No, take a guess right now. How many victims are on there?
45.
I put up a list of victims, and
48.
you were counting.
No, I guess.
No, you were counting.
I guess.
I already cut the time limit off, so.
You didn't say that.
45.
Go to patreon.com/talkmurder if you want to be a part of the discussion. This is going to be a very highly discussed one. I've been wanting to do this case forever since we started this podcast. This case has always intrigued me, and I'm so glad I dived so deep into it, and you guys are going to enjoy this a lot. And I'm so surprised you haven't heard of it.
What's the killer's name?
I'm so surprised. I will get to that in a minute.
Oh.
All right.
But Ted Bundy is the advisor.
All right. Do you guys
Ted
know
Bundy based out of Washington? I thought he was in like New York or Chicago.
That's why I was thinking Krasinski.
They had to fly in to see him, but he was still an advisor because just like Silence of the Lambs, to catch a killer, you need to have the mind of a killer.
Right.
Now,
That's why you have FBI profilers.
Yeah. So this story right here, the detectives were getting absolute hell from the community because they could not find this guy. And
It's
they were
interesting.
struggling.
Looking at all of these victims, there's not a clear type.
I was literally just going to say that.
I mean, there's African American girls,
And white
there's
girls.
white girls,
Yeah.
there's girls with brown hair, blonde hair, feathered hair, curly
but
hair,
some of
straight
them
hair.
some of them are similar looking though. If you look at them, like
Some of them are, but it's a very broad spectrum.
yeah, like but
They're all younger.
like, yeah.
They're all probably like 20, if that.
That's a good point that you said earlier about the types. Most serial killers tend to kill their own race.
Yeah.
You have a black serial killer, they're most likely
yeah.
going to kill black African American
So
females.
was this guy
Really?
a mixed race?
No, he was not a mixed race. But
He was white?
This is one of the reasons that they had trouble catching him, because he was all over the place.
know.
You know, most people have a type, like you said. I mean, he was...
Wasn't the eye killer in the Eye of the Beholder one also mixed, but he mostly killed prostitutes?
No, he was a white.
No, I know, but didn't he kill black women too?
Yeah, I think so. But that was just for the eyes.
But I think it had to do with, like, they were all prostitutes.
Yeah, that
so
was,
maybe the common thread is that these are all prostitutes.
No way. I disagree.
You never know.
All right, here we go. August 15th, 1982. The book I'm reading was written... I pretty much try to read a book for each story, you know, and the best ones I found, and sometimes they're the hardest to read, are from the actual detectives that were on the case for however long. Now, the reason they're hard to read is because they write them themselves.
They're not good writers.
Yeah, exactly.
Very detailed?
This book is an exception. This book is actually a phenomenal book.
Okay.
And it doesn't just break into the 20-year quest to catch this killer. It also gives you insights into how the bureaucracy and some of the inefficiencies of the police departments, you know, because this detective lived it all. And he spent his whole life, his whole career trying to catch this guy. And this is what he left behind. So if you think about you're this detective, they started following this guy around victim number 6, victim number 7. And
That's a big number.
now he feels the responsibility from all those other ones. See all those other victims? Because they could not catch this guy at all. So the responsibility, he feels it. You know, could I have done better? Is there something else we could have did? Because they started following him, like I said, around 6 or 7. And I think there's 48 up there.
That's what I said.
We're going to talk about 70.
Well,
70.
Yeah, 70.
oh my God.
So
this killer,
48 confirmed.
Well, there's
70.
a question mark, so I just assumed that he only got to like 47 people.
the common knowledge is this guy has killed about 70 people.
Wow.
Which is a lot. Which is a lot.
Holy shit.
So, all right. It was August 15th, 1982. The Green River in near Seattle, Washington. There was a phone call that came into the detective because there was a rafter going down the stream. And like I said, the Green River is slow. It's not like the rivers around here, you know, that just right into the ocean. This river is just like calm.
Would it be a good river to like go
rafting? Yeah, you'd never fucking get there, but yeah.
I want to
like a lazy river.
Yeah,
it's like a lazy river. Yeah.
I love lazy
There's one
lazy river.
Edisto, but I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I did it once, but like every time I kept on thinking about the alligators that might have been in the water.
Yeah, fuck that. No, we'll go lazy river rafting up in Maine where there are no alligators, only bears.
Yeah,
well, that's even worse.
probably.
Jen.
Yeah.
No, because there aren't going to be bears in the water.
Jen, bears can cross water. They can swim.
But
also, how about a water park?
yes, there's a
They
water
do
park.
them.
There's a water park in Ladson.
I don't know if it's good, but
Well, we can try it.
I'm just saying.
So, August 15th, 1982, a rafter, he calls the detectives. He's seen, I don't know, it's weird. Like, he's rafting, and then there's these mannequins. I mean, why is the mannequins out on this river? I guess, like, the department store needed to throw them out, so they threw them on this river? I don't know. They were, like, pushed up against the bank. And he's sitting there, it's an old timer, and he's looking at these mannequins. And then in the distance, back behind all the trees and the brush, because he's kind of down by the edge of the river, and he looks through the trees and he sees a guy get into his truck, but the guy looks at him and he waves, like a friendly wave. Hey, how are you? He didn't say anything, but it's like, hey, how are you? And he gets in his truck. And he drives off. Now, this rafter, of course, goes over there and sees, like, what the hell, these mannequins? You know, maybe, I don't know, it's weird. See some random mannequins. I mean, obviously.
But their bodies.
Their bodies, they're not
obviously.
mannequins. You guys have heard this podcast before.
They're probably They must have been fresh.
Yeah. So,
Would they have no heads?
no, they had heads. You are so desensitized.
I know. It's like when you compare the Dennis Nilsson episode to like now.
You're a pro.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mannequins were actually two dead women that were already starting to decompose.
Ew.
So he sees this guy, and it's like, because the Green River is a very large space. I mean, yeah, you run into fissures and all this stuff, but you usually don't see. I mean, if this guy was waving at you, he most likely knew about these mannequins, a.k.a. dead bodies, a.k.a. Cynthia Hines and Marshall Chapman.
Oh.
Hey, Nicole, will you please read? And we're going to be reading a lot tonight, so...
Oh, not me. I'm already buzzed.
A man rafting down the river saw 2 bodies and called the police. I came out to investigate. I was walking through this heavy grass and almost tripped over a 3rd body.
Ooh.
So, guys, tonight we are reading from Chasing the Devil, my 20-year quest to capture the Green River Killer.
Oh, I have heard of the Green River
I
Killer.
have heard of the Green River Killer.
This is...
I'm not familiar with the case, but I have heard of the Green River Killer.
Now, this is a very, very wild case. Now, the guy that wrote this, and if you read, there's other books out there. For instance, one's called Riverman. If you really want the information, you have to read it from the detective in his own words. Why wouldn't you? So this book is from Sheriff David Reichard. He was the one that put his whole career to use catching this guy. The book was really well written. Now, I'll say that. But as you'll see, as I'll talk about, the department, I mean, just look at the victims on the screen. Did they do the best they could? The department got a lot of criticism. Up to 70 dead women. So
over 20 years.
Over 20 years. They could not catch this guy at all. And I'll show you mistakes they made. That they had the guy.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
And you'll probably cover this later, but on the screen you have 47 women, but you say up to 70. Does that mean that he changed his MO for the rest of the women that are potentially killed by him?
No, I'll get to that later.
Sorry.
The ones that David Reichard found first was Opal Mills, Cynthia Hines, and Marshall Chapman. Now, they're up there somewhere.
So this is the first sign of a serial killer.
Yes, because you find 3. I mean, this guy was walking. He was trying to map out, how did he drag these 2 bodies over here? And then it's like, oh my God, there's another one. Like, he stepped on the foot of the other one. He's like, shit, there's another one. One of the women, the African-American woman that was in the water, and he says it was almost like she was waving at him because her whole body was submerged. And her hand was kind of the only thing that was free. I mean, her body was kind of being pulled down by vines and just the weight of the water. But her right hand was up, and it was underwater, but it's like waving. Almost like, help me. Oh, help me. They tried to pull her out, and he gets very detailed in the book when he says he tried to pull her out by her arms, and she's been there for so long that her skin actually came off. You know, when you sit underwater for so long, the skin actually comes off of the skeleton. So there's a couple bodies that were in there for a very, very long time. Guys, and like I said, I'm putting the entire post on our Patreon page. Please go join the conversation with us. And I'm also putting the movie that I found about this whole thing. You can find it on YouTube if you search. If not, you got to pay like $7 for an Amazon movie. I found it on YouTube. Somebody put it up. So go there, Patreon page, support us, comment with us. Let's get in this conversation. That's all I'm going to say about it. Now, right there, they found 3 bodies. Okay. In May, okay, this was August I was talking about. In May, there was a couple looking for some mushrooms near the Green River. They were trying to find wild mushrooms, which I was trying to figure out what they need that for. But then again,
It is Washington State. So
Yeah.
possible recreational activity.
But then again, the pills I'm taking are supposedly wild mushrooms. Not hallucinogenic, but like I buy them at Whole Foods. They clear your skin up or something. I don't know. Anyway, so they were looking for wild mushrooms near the Green River, but instead they found a fully dressed woman with a bag over her head.
Ooh.
Now this is different because the other bodies before were completely naked.
Mm-hmm.
There was an empty wine bottle placed on her chest. There was also a couple dead fish that were placed on her neck. Now this is the third DNA, and this is one of the things that the detectives did right in this case. They collected DNA samples, and that sounds weird saying that now, but in the 80s, DNA samples were not like they are today.
Right.
There's only one reason to collect the DNA sample in the 80s, and that was to determine someone's blood type. Now you can do a lot more with it. So the fact that they actually got the DNA samples out of these victims, the semen and stuff, was brilliant because most other detectives around the nation were not doing that because all it could tell you was the blood type. Does that make sense? But now, as we got these advanced methods, I mean, look at the Golden State Killer, right? All these advanced methods, you can exactly and I'm not a geneticist, but they can match up an exact profile from your DNA structure just from using a small smidget of it.
You know what I saw today?
What?
There's this website, kind of like 23andMe, but different. I don't remember the name of it, but they will take your DNA profile and they can make it into a portrait, and you can learn all about your DNA and
yeah, 23andMe, right?
No.
Like Ancestry?
It's no. It's it starts with an H, but they take your DNA, you get your DNA profile, but they'll make that DNA profile into this portrait, and you hang it on your wall. Yeah, it's really cool. But like I said, I'm not submitting my DNA.
No, I want after the Golden
yeah.
State Killer episode.
I wanted, yeah, exactly. Listen to
Maybe
Golden
my
State
parents,
Killer.
I'll get them 23andMe so I can find out my information and divide it by 2. But nah.
But they can still track
still
you.
have you.
If you have not listened to
then never
DNA,
mind.
if you have not listened to Golden State
Or
episode,
they'd say oh, this person's related to these people.
hey guys, if you have not listened to our Golden State Killer episode, the second part to that, we talk about the DNA and how they got it. And, it's good that they caught them, but for me, no one's ever getting my DNA. And I really want to give it to them because I want to know what diseases I'm potentially could have in the future. I want to know my distant ancestors. But I also don't want to give that to the detectives if my cousin way down the road kills someone. Now I'm drawn into some investigation and I'm made public. I don't want that.
I also don't want to get cloned in the future.
Yes.
So if it was in a 20-year time frame, then they were caught fairly recently.
Yeah, I'm going to get into the MO later of exactly the gruesomeness of this, but, I want to start off slow.
Ease into it.
So, yeah, that couple was looking for mushrooms. They found a woman fully dressed. Obviously, this was a victim of the Green River Killer. There was a bag over her head, an empty wine bottle placed on her chest, dead fish placed on her neck. They did collect the DNA sample. Now, was this the same killer? Because all of a sudden the MO is completely different. The other women were undressed. Now, the pathologist and the coroner found out that, or they could tell that the victim was undressed, but then redressed. And then all this, it was staged.
Interesting.
So that gives you a foresight of this killer. He was staging this to make it not look like the other one because he didn't want to get caught. He wasn't taunting the cops and trying to be like, oh, there's 2 killers. Well, yeah, he may have been like, there's 2 killers out there, but he wanted to throw them off so he can keep doing his thing. This was his hobby. This was his passion. He didn't want the police. He didn't want notoriety. If he didn't get caught, eventually he would still be out there. Does that make sense? Like he doesn't want publicity. So maybe he was changing the MO, trying to throw him off the track. Now, I do want to say that all these women that he has killed were related to prostitution in some way.
Boom! I said that. I know I said that out loud.
Yeah, they were all prostitutes.
Like the eye of the beholder.
A lot of them were 16, 17, 18. Some of them go up to 30. But yeah, I mean, because during this time period, this was not more accepted, but I mean, you'd run away from home. There's domestic issues. You're 16 years old. You need to fund a life somehow. You get out on the street. You start mingling with their own people. You start selling your body for sex. You may be 16. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, anytime I just feels like I don't know. I always think of whenever I think of prostitution, I always think of Les Miserables. Like on the dock scene. It's just so sad. How did this get full? I finished this drink already.
Jen, you're just a shot. You're drinking. Oh my God. Here's Jen. Jen, we going to IHOP tonight, you and me.
No.
We're going to walk.
We've already discussed.
I'll carry you, Jen.
We're having pita chips and hummus.
Your hands will fall off.
If I carry you to IHOP,
We're having
there's
pita
no
chips
way you
and
can
hummus.
lift me up, John. There's no possible way you can
we got a
lift me.
wheelbarrow, Jen.
I'll carry you.
Pita chips and hummus is what we're having afterwards, folks.
All right. Guys, during Wait, you said 1989. That's very close.
Yeah.
During 1982.
Yeah.
This is why, if you read his book, you'll see why it's almost like he's kind of pissed about the case. Because during 1982 alone, at least 16 women would go missing.
Wow.
All had
16
ties
in
to
1 year.
prostitution. Many were last seen near the SeaTac Strip, which is near the airport. Oh, you know where that's at?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's around there? Can you tell us? I don't know if it's the same today, but
SeaTac, it's not that far outside of downtown Seattle. It's probably 20 minutes from the heart of Seattle.
Yeah.
If that, 15.
Can you tell us about it? I've never
Did you
been.
go on the Space Needle when you went to Seattle?
I have been on the Space Needle. I've also been to the restaurant that's in the Space Needle.
I've never been to Seattle
rotates
before.
around.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like isn't the top of the hub kind of like that?
Yeah.
Does the top of the hub rotate?
I don't know, but
I've never been to the top
but
of
they
the hub.
do. Me either. Well, let's go in the summer when you come to Boston.
So I've been to Seattle a couple of times. My sister lived in Whidbey Island, Washington for a couple of years, so I visited her several times. Public Market is really fun. Amazing seafood, amazing sushi, salmon. Oh man, it's really good for Starbucks, which now we're on a no Starbucks phase right now. But yeah, Seattle Airport is pretty nice. That's where Pike Place is where their first Pike Place location burned down. So the place that's there today, that's the Pike Place location, is not the original one, but it's just what has been rebuilt.
So guys, if you want to go...
If you go there, they have a special Pike Place coffee that you can only purchase at that
Different
location.
than the regular Pike Place?
Correct. There is one that you can only purchase at that location.
What does that cost? Like $50 for a small?
Guys, please ban
you
Starbucks.
buy the bag. It's like you can purchase bagged coffee.
I know you probably love Starbucks, and I used to too, but please hear me out. Starbucks is I have stopped drinking Starbucks altogether. They charge way too much for the drinks.
I can attest.
It's all ice.
John would almost exclusively want to drink Starbucks coffee.
Yes.
And now he has converted to be a Dunks fan.
And I am a Dunks fan, and that's not even a southern thing. That's a northern thing, and that's
from Quincy, Massachusetts.
Yeah. So, listen, Starbucks, they came out a couple months ago. It was like, you know what? We're making a big change. It was a big press release. We're stopping using straws. Some plastic. We're not giving any plastic straws.
I thought you were going to go with the porn thing.
They're going to go with they're banning 1 billion straws from Starbucks, and
I
it was
got a
all.
drink with a straw the other day.
And then the freaking
It's not until
no,
like
this is
2020.
Oh.
and then like all the
They have to
stock
use
like
what they have.
their stock like shoots up, and they're all like, Starbucks is amazing. Hey, think about it. They're the assholes that were giving 1 billion fucking straws a year to begin with. So just because they're not anymore doesn't make them great. It makes them just doing the right thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, doing something that's
Can
not
we
shitty.
talk about the porn thing?
Yes,
What's the porn thing?
Talk about the porn thing, Nicole.
So Starbucks had issued a statement a couple weeks ago that they were going to prohibit the usage of porn sites on their public Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then there's a company called YouPorn, after hearing that there was a ban on public porn
Starbucks,
search on Starbucks Wi-Fi. YouPorn made an announcement that they would stop serving Starbucks coffee in all of their offices in retaliation.
So if you're listening to this right now, are you the type of guy or gal that goes into your local Starbucks and you type in that Pornhub and you start watching full-length videos, and there's like kids running around ordering like chocolate
That's just
milk and
weird.
shit?
I don't
That's
understand.
weird.
I don't understand the purpose of watching porn if
Me
you're not
either.
trying to get off.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Or maybe they are. It's just really weird.
Ew.
Which makes me never want to sit in a Starbucks
Yeah.
again.
Also
Yeah.
true.
You know what? Changing the subject from porn back to coffee. Do you
Porn back to coffee.
you know what we need down here in South Carolina? Honeydew donuts.
What?
Eh,
We got Dunkin',
I used to think that.
Jen.
I used to think that. Hear me out.
I would say Mary Lou.
We got Krispy Kreme down
Mary
here, Jen.
Lou's. Oh yeah.
No, we got
Mary
Krispy
Lou's.
Kreme. Hey, we should go down to Columbia because the Krispy Kreme factory is down there. And,
Really?
and they make them fresh. You can see them going around the
I've seen that in
conveyor
DC
belt.
before. But Honeydew Donuts, Milk of Madness is to die for if you're from Massachusetts.
I think Honeydew went out of business, didn't it?
No.
Are you sure?
I just had one 2 weeks ago.
Maybe they just closed several locations.
Maybe. No, but that's Papa Gino's and D'Angelo's.
No, I
now
know.
Also
there,
Friendly's.
there was a Honeydew, like where I used to live, but there's not anymore.
The original one,
I don't know.
right? Milton or
Randolph?
Milford?
I lived in Randolph.
Randolph. Oh, no shit. You know, there's
Shit.
the Stoughton BJ's is right there next to Randolph. And
Yes, that's where we used to go. That's where we used to go.
Everyone thinks that the Stoughton BJ's is in Randolph, but it's not. It's in Stoughton.
It's in Stoughton. And also, Town Spot Pizza is in Stoughton. That's the fucking shit. And there's Linwood and Randolph, but it's fine.
But everyone's like, oh, Randolph BJ's? I'm like, no, Stoughton.
It's technically Stoughton.
Why did I think you said Milton or Milton?
I went to school in Milton all my life.
Oh, Fonfont.
And then St. Mary of the Hills.
You said you've been to SeaTac Strip.
Yep.
I don't know how it is now. And guys, I've never been.
It's not a bad area.
I've never been to that area. So, but I've
It's beautiful. It's kind of depressing,
been
but
on
it's
Google
beautiful.
Earth.
Like
So-
in Twilight, how it's always raining in Forks.
It's not always raining, but it's just like you don't have a clear view of the sun. But it's
Well, why would you want to
beautiful.
view the sun? Like,
You can't look at the sun.
you can't look at Isaac Newton looked at the sun and it burned his eyes.
like the
He had to
sun.
stay in the closet for 2 weeks because his eyes were burned.
One time I was wearing sunglasses and I was looking out my car window and I was like, wow, the moon is full tonight. And they're like, Jen, that's the sun.
Wow.
And then 8 shots later, she is on the floor.
No, I actually was a little intoxicated. It was on my birthday, my
Oh,
25th
shit.
birthday, and we were driving from Boston to Gillette. We went to Gillette that night. That was
All right, so I don't know how it is now, but back in the 80s, on SeaTac Strip near the airport, there were many bars, dance clubs, and little motels. Now, these motels had adult video rentals, and they also paid by the hour. So there was a lot of prostitutes there. This was a strip. You wanted, tall, small, big, skinny, black, white, whatever, green. It doesn't matter. You could go to the SeaTac Strip and get whatever flavor you want.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. During 1982, the remains of 6 women, 3 of which I told you, another 2 found by mushroom pickers,
Yeah.
another 2 found by some kids bicycling, would be found near the Green River. So, okay, they've got a serial killer. killing prostitutes, but nonetheless, there's a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah. It's nice that they at least know, he's targeting just the prostitutes. Not that it's nice that he's targeting the prostitutes, but it targets it.
Yeah. You know, I was talking
specific MO.
I was talking to one of our Patreon fans, and she was telling me, she said, you know, some of these true crime episodes, not just your podcast, John and Jen and Nicole's, not just y'all's podcast, but other ones too, like some of the baby episodes, like I just can't stand. But the ones that I can get all the way through is when they're killing prostitutes. And I was like, that makes sense. All right. So you gonna love this one because we killing a lot of prostitutes.
I mean, like, yes, the baby ones are extremely hard for even me to get through, especially me to get through. But like, I don't know. They're still people. Like,
they are people.
Did they make bad choices in their lives? Yes.
Yeah, but it's a part of their occupation. It's an occupational hazard. If they were base jumpers, there's a lot of base jumpers that die, Jen. A lot.
Yeah, because what they're doing could actually kill them. But like,
yeah, that's their own stupidity.
But like I don't think, and I'm not being snarky, but I don't know. And am I saying that prostitution is right? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone dying from having sex before, unless they were allergic to a latex
occupational
condom.
hazard obviously is like
they're easy targets.
Getting murdered, Jen.
Well, yeah, I know that.
And ending up in the Green River.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it. The guys that they're picking up are not like super successful Brad Pitt. I mean, of course they pick up a CEO every once in a while, but it's like
that's only in Pretty Women.
I mean, this is like, dude, they're picking up.
But also, he was into some fucked up shit.
Yeah, but also that took place in Seattle.
It did.
Okay. Anyway,
and I didn't even read the books, and I knew that.
The detectives,
I read them. They're hilarious.
They're freaking out because there's nothing. All they have is little witness accounts like this. Oh, this guy waved at me and then he got into a truck. The footprints aren't there. They're in the middle of the woods. All they have is bodies everywhere. And some of these women they know that the killer must really hate women because some of the women.
Somebody has mommy problems.
Some of the women.
Yeah.
And girls out there, I know you're going to probably be hurting right now because when someone talks about kicking some guy in the junk, it's the same thing. Some of the women, the prostitutes, the victims, they had to surgically fish out rocks from inside of their vaginas. There were rocks put up there.
Oh my God.
And that's not just from throwing them in the river and then, like a meandering rock will come and just like slide up in there.
Nope.
No, these were
not gonna
freaking
happen.
almost like boulders, man.
But
like,
I have a question. Were they inserted pre or post mortem? Because if he's putting them in there to sink the body, you would think that maybe they were dead first.
They were dead first, yes. And then he would put them up there. The thing is, with this guy...
Yeah, it's still fucked up, but at least they didn't have to deal with that pain because they were already dead.
Well, with this guy, and I'll get to childhood and stuff later, he hated women.
Clearly.
No, he liked having sex with women, obviously. I mean, he was a sex addict.
Serious mommy problems.
But he had a very good point. So he would stick rocks up there. He would stick sticks, anything he could find. He would stick a lobster up there if he found one, right? I mean, anything.
Do they have lobsters in Seattle?
Well, maybe like a crab. I don't know, Jen. So I don't know, Jen, like a snapper fish. He'd stick a snapper fish up there.
Crab.
King crab.
All right, so they reached out. Now they got a serial killer, and the public is going crazy because and they finally labeled it the Green River Killer is out there somewhere killing all these women. Right? So they reached out to the FBI, their criminal behaviorist profilers, John Douglas. You probably heard that name before. I got a book over there, The Evil That Men Do, which he did not talk about this case.
Huh.
And it's my opinion why he did not talk about it is because the profile given and then the actual serial killer caught was not very accurate. So if you want to read the actual profile that he written out, John Douglas. Now, John Douglas is a very intelligent man, but the profile really didn't match up. So would you like to read the profile that he supplied to the detectives, Nicole?
I would. Profile elements include 1. All 49 killings were the work of one person. 2. Familiarity with the sites where bodies were found. 3. Drives a lot. Drives in a van or four-door car, at least 3 years old, not well maintained, and drives conservatively. 4. Average or slightly higher average intelligence. 5. Divorced. 6. Low self-esteem. 7. Large man in good physical condition. 8. White. 9. No racial preference in his victims. In revised profile. 10. Still sees prostitutes. 11. Between his mid-20s and early 30s. 12. Comes from a family background of marital discord. 13. He is basically shy and has a strong personal feeling of inadequacy. Is not the type who can hustle women in a bar. He is not a smooth talker. He is basically shy and has very strong feelings of inadequacy. 14. He has a prior criminal history of assault and rape or psychological history. 15. Did not go with intentions of killing someone. 16. He, the killer, has felt that he has been burned or lied to and fooled by women one too many times. In his way of thinking, women are no good and cannot be trusted, and he feels women will prostitute themselves for whatever reason, and when he sees women openly prostituting themselves, this makes his blood boil. 17. Had non-violent encounters with prostitutes that ended normally. 18. Has a strong interest in police work. Killer may have initiated contact with victims by posing as a police officer or authority figure. 19. Raised by a single parent. 20. Two people involved. 21. Does not plan to put his victims through some sort of ritual sex act or body positioning. 22. He is an angry individual who sometimes demonstrates power over his victims. 23. Enjoys the publicity he's receiving. 24. A beer drinker and probably a smoker. 25. Is unemployed or chronically underemployed. When he does work, he has a job requires more strength and skill. 26. An outdoorsman, recreational, fisherman, and hunter. 27. Not very neat or meticulous. 28. Had trouble in school and dropping out during his junior and senior year. 29. Possible strong religious feelings.
I'm interested in. It seems like a change. Whoa, I'm slurring. It seems like a change of profile from the early numbers. It said a single killer, or did it say multiple killers?
It said multiple.
Oh, never mind. And then it said 2 people involved. But I don't know. I thought it said single, and I don't know. I'm drunk.
No, you're fine. So that, I'm going to tell you right now, that profile, that's a hit and miss, man. It really is.
So some is true and some is not?
Yeah. I mean, the majority is not.
But but they did catch the Green River Killer?
Yeah, he's caught, yeah. But not by that profile. All right, so one of the things they did was they ran a special manhunt live. This was kind of like America's Most Wanted. They were trying to catch the guy because at this point, there were 20-something victims already. And they were getting scared, and they were just getting on public news.
Hello, I'm Roger Ottenbach, General Manager of Channel 13. Wednesday, December 7th, we'll join Seattle King County Crime Stoppers in a nationwide search for the Green River serial killer. Manhunt, like America's Most Wanted, gives you the chance to call in tips to authorities. Channel 13 will broadcast this special live at 5 p.m. with an update at 8 p.m. The subject matter of Manhunt is not appropriate for children. But we hope that adult viewers will join us on Wednesday, December 7th and help us end the nightmare.
So they were trying everything. Now, they got a lot of tips of who this guy is, because what they would do is they would go, they know the detectives know this guy is killing only prostitutes. They formed this thing called the Green River Task Force. They would actually get female detectives, just like on Reno 911, dress them up as prostitutes.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was a real thing. They tried that shit. I think this is the first time in history they tried it.
Oh no!
And it didn't have any success, but
I wonder if they based that episode off of what
I
they
think
did
so.
here.
I was thinking about that. They have you seen Reno 911, Nicole?
You showed us that episode.
Yeah, so where they're
There was something else where we were talking about that. I think it was for the Eye of the Beholder one.
the guy with the skateboard or the roller skate guy, what's his name?
You told us, you showed us the Thai food one.
Yeah. All right. So now the FBI told Detective Reichard that the killer would most likely call in. And
Did he?
the reason why he would call in, and I didn't know this at the time, is because the killer wants to stay as close as he can to the police developments. So he would call in and say, hey, I knew some of these girls. I could offer any help. Like, what leads y'all have so far, you know? Like, I maybe can...
To keep close, but also to distance himself at the same time.
Exactly. They did get a suspect. The first one, prime suspect number 1, Melvin Foster. Does he sound like a serial killer to you? Now, he initially called in to offer his help. He said, I'm a cab driver. I know some of these women that have gone missing. Now they're up to like 30-something. He claimed to know some of the victims. They gave him a polygraph test because they found some warrants on his arrest, and he failed the polygraph test. Awfully. And he was just there to provide help. So this is the killer, right?
No.
Yeah.
They decided to put surveillance on Mr. Melvin Foster, and he was frequenting all kinds of prostitutes during the night.
But that doesn't make him the killer.
Exactly.
It is weird, though.
It is
Yeah.
weird, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not suspect.
Well, I mean, like he says, he knows a bunch of the women. He knows them because he hired them. But that doesn't mean that he's killing them.
No, but why would you randomly admit that to the police?
All right, let me run down
Well, he didn't admit it. He failed the polygraph test.
Hey guys, to give you a good idea of how many we're talking about within less than 2 years, I'm going to run down the first names as fast as I can, starting from the end of 1982. Okay,
Just first names?
just first names: Amina, Wendy, Gazelle, Marcia, Cynthia, Opal, Chapman, Hines, Mills, Casey, Terry, Mary, Deborah, Linda, Denise, Shonda, Shirley, Rebecca, Colleen, Alma, Dolores, Gail, Andrea, Sandra, Kimmy K, Maria, Carol, Martina, Cheryl, Yvonne, Carrie, Constance, Kelly, and Kelly, but one with an I, one with a Y, Tina, April, Debbie, Tracy, Maureen, Mary, Pammy, Delise, Kimberly, Lisa, Patricia, Mary, another Mary, Cindy. So that's just from 2 years.
Wow.
That's a lot. That was just first names. Just to give you an idea. And all these women were found at the Green River.
Yeah.
How the fuck are the detectives letting this guy keep dumping bodies around the fucking river?
Like, wouldn't they have like a stakeout?
Exactly.
or something?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly,
That can't be that
right?
hard.
Even after like 5 people, you would want to like stake out the location where he's dumping them. How long is the Green River?
Are they different locations on it?
I mean, it's a big river, but it's like shit.
But you can get the whole county involved. Like, get multiple police departments involved if you have to.
But here's the thing. These are prostitutes. They are not
care.
women and children, housewives and children.
So they don't care.
They are not
There's still people.
the daughter
I
of the
understand
sheriffs. They are prostitutes. And it has always been like that. And will always be like that.
that. You know, it's a shame. I understand why. I understand both sides of it. But, like, it's a shame. They're people. They have lives, even though they're not, like, I mean, even though their jobs are not, like, CEOs or homemakers or accountants or anything like that, you know? Like, they're still people and their lives still matter. It just makes me upset.
Now, let me skip to that part right quick.
Like, that could be your cousin or your sister.
And I'll show
Or
you.
your best friend. And maybe she's not making the best life choices. Maybe she's going skiing on a mountain of cocaine. Who knows? But they're still people, you know? Like, they still have families.
But they're also criminals.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just giving the opposing view about why they're not
You're
important.
right. You're right. But they're criminals, yes. But they're still people. Like, look at her. She looks like she could be your,
But I could see why a police officer is like a little bit more like an
But I will say this, guys. When the Green River Killer was known, and it is known pretty quick that prostitutes go missing, these girls get scared.
Yeah.
And I have some, I'll show you some headlines.
They're a community themselves. Like, all these women probably worked for, like, at least common pimps.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Sally went missing. Be careful with your clients, or I'll pimp slap you if I don't see you again.
There were some feminists, 400 feminists within the area formed the Women Coalition to Stop the Green River Murders. This was a march that they put on. They blamed the police for not trying because all the victims were prostitutes. This was in March.
I'd march for that.
And on March 16th, Opal Mills, one of the first women victims found, her mother carried a sign that said, "My daughter murdered. Attitude? Too bad. Policeman's daughter murdered. Attitude? Killer found the next day." You see what I'm saying? She was marching that. The cops got a lot of shit. If you read the book, you can tell the tone of this guy writing the book was everyone hates us because we are not doing our job. Maybe they were doing their job. But the fact is, you're looking at 49 dead prostitutes.
It's a lot of people.
And they started at number 6.
It's a lot of people.
And this guy was dumping them in the Green River. They formed the Green River Task Force. They questioned over 1,000 suspects. They had maps with push pins.
Ooh, push pins. Were they different colored for the different sites?
One wall was filled up with 65 black loose-leaf notebooks filled with information about each murder. This is the type of bureaucracy that doesn't solve the crime. I was reading this in the book. You do not compliment yourself because you have maps with push pins. You compliment yourself when you find the fucking killer.
But look at all these different colors we have. We have orange for this suspect and blue for that one. Then we have the red, the green, the white, the yellow, and the other ones.
And I'm not talking bad. I'm trying not to talk bad about detectives. I'm really not.
Like 50 victims. Are they living a life that's not as savory as other people? Yeah. But they're still they have lives. They have bills to pay. I'm not condoning their job. I'm just saying, but they're just like, how can you let this happen?
But I want to say one thing. Half the community, let's just face it, half the community are glad this happened because the green killers out there.
Criminals off the street. That's what they're thinking.
The prostitutes, now they're scared. What do? They keep prostituting there and wondering if this is a night, or do they
move.
book out of town? Now the strip is clean of prostitutes.
What are you saying? That the Green River Killer is like the Batman of Seattle?
Yes. No, I'm not saying he's the Batman, but I'm saying he's driving off all these prostitutes.
Now, okay, so but yes, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Now,
that really did happen.
I understand that that's happening. It's like the same thing back home. Even in Somerville, when I drive into work, we have all these panhandlers, and it's like, I feel bad for you. You have a bad situation, or do you? I don't know if you're faking it or not, but please go away. Like, you know what I mean? It's sad. Like, I will sometimes I do give, if I have spare change or something, I'll give to a panhandler. I have been known for that, but I wouldn't condone someone killing panhandlers to get the panhandlers to stop harassing people for money. You know what I mean? I would much rather see someone put a viral video of someone panhandling and then going off and driving off in a Cadillac Escalade. You know what I mean? Get them out that way. You don't have to go killing people.
Yeah, but also the fact is, all the prostitutes left. But that don't mean they just stopped prostituting. They just went to other counties.
Went somewhere else.
Yeah, they went to other states. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't solve the problem. It just moved it from one state to the next.
But how do you solve the problem?
Prostitution has been...
It's as old as time. It's the oldest
prostitution was
profession.
literally one of the first occupations. It's always going to be there.
Exactly. So what's the, like, you can't...
You make it legal.
No.
Yeah, you make it legal, you make it clean. Who's going to go get a fucking hooker that has all kinds of diseases when they can go get a legal hooker that's been tested and is clean? Now you're not spreading diseases. The guys that go visit prostitutes, they're not going to stop visiting prostitutes if they make prostitution illegal. You know what I'm saying? They're going to figure it out.
Like I said, I'm not condoning prostitution, but if you have brothels, then, you know, you have people that have a steady job.
Yeah, you got a safe environment for it.
Like in Game of Thrones, like Tyrion Lannister, Tyrion, what, I can't even fucking pronounce things, but he would go to brothels all the time, you know, and like that's like a thing. It's a house, like it's a job. You know what I mean? Like like I said, I don't know. It's the same thing with marijuana, right? Like you make marijuana legal, you get the people like for selling marijuana off the streets, you clear up the prisons, you put money into the economy. I wonder what the rate of murder for prostitutes is in Amsterdam. No, that's the question. I'm thinking of Deuce Bigelow, but like,
dude, what the fuck?
Deuce Bigelow.
We got to get on with this, Jen.
I'm making a point. Like, but if you like, you can look to countries where it is legal and compare the crimes against that type of profession to crimes where it is illegal.
All right, so Melvin Foster was one of the prime suspects. Now, he called in to help. He said, hey, I know some of these girls because I'm a cab driver. Now, they found all kind of warrants and stuff, and they immediately suspected him. Hey, you're the guy. He failed his polygraph test. They put him under surveillance. Now, he went to the media, KIRO media station, because they were following him. I mean, think about it. You're leaving your house to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get their iced coffee that's from 2 to 4 is $2 for any size. And there's a cop behind you. And yeah, it's like, he ain't stupid. I mean, he grew up in the streets. He knows that there's a tail. He's got to shake that tail, right? So he was telling the media the whole time, I offer my help. And they're trying to and they blast me in the media. I got all these newspapers. They're blasting him in the media like he's the killer. He's done killed all these women. And he was just trying to offer him some help. So what does he do? One day he tries to shake the police. But instead he drives to the KIRO media station without his tail, knowing the detectives following him. They didn't know where he was going. He drove to the media station where there was a cameraman waiting for him. And now this was a very outspoken man, like in the media, like, you know, and he was accused of killing and prostituting and all that kind of stuff. Most people wouldn't be that outspoken because they got wives and children, you know what I'm saying?
But now, was he having sex with the prostitutes? He was
having sex with them.
Okay.
He just didn't care, right? Now, he drove to the media station, and the cameraman was waiting outside for him. He pulls up, and then the cameraman runs over to the detective's undercover car and starts filming them. Now, how embarrassing is that for the sheriff's department?
Yep, that's pretty shitty.
This is one embarrassing moment. This case is just an embarrassing moment after the next.
Yep.
Okay? They can't catch the guy. They're getting this guy, Melvin Foster, who was actually not guilty and was just trying to offer help. They were pressuring him so much, he cracked and went to the media and exposed how inefficient the sheriff's office is being. Now, the second suspect that they really thought they had, this is the guy. His name was Bill McLean. They were so confident. Bill McLean, he is the guy. He is the guy, and we're so confident because he failed the polygraph test too. We're so confident that he is the one person out of 10,000 suspects they were looking at that the department catered wine and champagne bottles when they arrested him.
Wow.
He ain't the guy.
But, polygraphs are not like...
Guess who's in the news? Looking like a fucking... Yeah.
But polygraphs, while helpful, are not 100% valid. Like if you're sitting there questioning me, I'm obviously going to be stressed out, and that's what they measure as your response to the different. Like they hook you up to this machine, and they like measure. I was watching that movie the Captain Mr. whoever and Wonder Woman, the guy who created Wonder Woman. He also created like the polygraph. Talking about
Stan Lee?
No, not Stan Lee. Mr. So-and-so and the Wonder Woman. The guy who actually wrote the Wonder Woman comic, he was involved in like this polygamous relationship, but he also invented the polygraph machine and the point is that polygraphs they're designed to measure your I think anyway, the way that I understand it, they're designed to measure your response to questions by like your heart rate goes up when you're lying or something like that. Yeah. So in a stressful situation, your heart rate's going to go up. Like for me, like I don't know if I would be able to pass any polygraph because I get nervous when I think that people like are thinking that like that are sitting there questioning me, berating me. You know what I mean? It depends on the situation. Like when you think about like Brendan Dassey and the way that the police were questioning him, he wasn't hooked up to a polygraph machine, but like any type of stressful situation like that, I don't think that I would be able to pass a polygraph like that, even if I was telling the truth, because I feel like I would be really stressed out and my answers would, I don't know. I'm not even finishing sentences. I don't know, but I'm just saying that polygraphs are not always 100% reliable.
Detective Reichart, and the Green River Task Force, over 40 detectives working on this. No one knows anything. They got over 10,000 suspects. They're desperate. And this is after they reached out to a psychic, which I'll talk about in a little bit.
Whoa, they must have been really desperate.
Finally, actually, Ted Bundy reaches out to them.
Oh.
Now, I want to say, Ted Bundy reaches out to them to offer help. Is this...
What year is this then that they're offering?
1984.
Okay, yeah. So it's only been 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. Detective Reichart claims that Bundy was worried because now he's like 34 victims in. He's worried that the Green River Killer may actually surpass him.
That's what I was thinking. He wants to be the most prolific.
So he's like, motherfucker, I gotta catch this guy.
How many people did Ted Bundy kill?
I think I haven't done Ted Bundy yet, but I think like under 40, probably around 38 or something.
Oh, so he really was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He did take his throne.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why have we never heard about this guy?
Ted Bundy?
No. Green River Killer.
No, I heard
I've heard the name Green River Killer, but I don't know who he is.
Okay, so now, not only was he worried that he may get surpassed as the most prolific serial killer in the nation, he also wanted attention. Ted Bundy has been on death row. People were so all over Ted Bundy. His story was like all over the media, and then it was not.
Yeah, so they're done. They're done with him.
They're done with him. He's been sitting in his little cell, and he's got nothing. No one wants interviews with him. He's done. So this is a chance for him to get that spark. He can't go out and kill people and satisfy his sexual urges. So this, at least talking about it in the media, could provide some sort of sexual gratification towards him, right? Now, so we're about to hear the interview between Ted Bundy and Detective Reichart.
Do you have any speculation as to why he may be doing that?
Well, first of all, it's no good place. He's trying to dispose of the bodies, but they won't be found. This guy doesn't want to get caught. Neither does he want to have his bodies found. I think it's clear that over time you can see him, at least it would appear, that over time he's trying to improve his dump sites. He gets on Interstate 5, he's rumbling down Interstate 5, and he could just as easily drop off here as he did with Williams. But more likely, in fact, he's headed south. He dropped off Pitzer here and Cody Rockman here.
What's he saying? Well, summarize it for us.
All right. he was saying about his MO, like, where would he dump them? Like, all right, he's going down Interstate 5. He's looking for places to dump them and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll summarize it because it's from the 80s, so the audio volume is pretty shitty. Basically, what he was saying, this guy is, number one, going to continue doing it. And further in the interview, which we didn't hear, he says something that actually helps the police. He says, stop trying to go to this guy. This guy will come to you. He is going to continue dumping bodies in the Green River. Not only that, he revisits bodies in the Green River. And that turned out to be true. So, just be patient is what he said. I don't know. All right, anyway,
It was
let's
like
move
he
on.
was being helpful, but for his own interest.
Yeah. So the main point of it
True
is
psychopath.
Ted Bundy gets in this episode, and that gives us more ratings, right? So anyway, let me tell you about the third suspect. The detectives started working with the local pimps because the pimps
Doing the
control the
prostitute.
prostitutes, and their prostitutes are going missing. So now, and you got to keep in mind, these prostitutes and pimps, the last thing they want to do is work with a detective or any type of police. But during these circumstances, they had to make it work because they needed each other. The pimps are losing their girls because they're getting slaughtered. They're losing their business. The prostitutes are losing their lives, and the cops are losing the faith in the community. They had to work together. So there was this one pimp. He calls the police, calls the detective's office, and he says he announced himself as the boyfriend of this one lady. Her name was Marie Malvar. His girlfriend, his quote, girlfriend, got into one of the John's trucks to do a trick, to make some money. And he was watching from a little bit back. His car was backed up, and some of the pimps started to do this. They started to follow their girls to the locations and just kind of staying back and making sure everything's okay. That's what he did. Now, he noticed when Marie got into this truck, and he thought it was a purple truck. It's really red, the actual truck. The purple truck, he noticed one thing in particular. It had all these primer spots on it. It's kind of like a beat-up truck, it's a little like a painter's truck. It's got that little cage, and you could put like a ladder up there and stuff. Yeah, so almost like the Evil Brothers truck, kind of, their blue truck. Sort of like that. So he was looking out, and he saw that, and he saw Marie get into that truck, and immediately they started arguing. And the truck pulls off, so he follows them. But he loses the truck and his girlfriend / prostitute, his worker, at the intersection. He stopped behind the red light, and that truck just goes off into the distance. And he tries to follow it, and he can't. Now he's getting this really bad feeling. He got this really bad feeling. And sure enough, hours later, when she was supposed to be back, she didn't show up.
Yeah.
He goes all over the place searching for this truck. If he saw the truck, he could spot it in an instant. He'll know that truck. I know that truck. That truck had primer spots on it. That truck is unlike any other truck in this city. I can point that truck out in a truck lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He finally calls the police and he says, listen, I'm the boyfriend.
/ pimp.
And they're like, listen, I know you're a pimp. Let's just skip the formalities and let's fucking solve this, right? Before he calls the police, he goes out the next day and he does his own detective work. Now he's turning on all these streets. He knows the truck went this way, east. He don't know where, but it can't be far because it doesn't go very far in there. So he's turning all these subdivisions. He goes down this one road. Military Road is the road he goes down. And then he kind of slows down, and in the corner of his eye, he sees it. He sees the truck. This little
Wow.
shanty house. It's not a bad looking house. It's kind of, out there on the Green River.
In the sticks.
About
though.
2 miles away from the Green River. Yeah, into sticks. And he's like, motherfucker, that's the truck. I see them primer spots. That is the truck. Mm-hmm. That truck. My girlfriend, my girl is in there. Finally, he calls the police.
What year is this?
This is 1984. He calls the police. They go down there. And they're just like, man, the detectives go down to that house and the truck's there. And I mean, you're taking advice from a pimp. What's weird about this situation, and it's kind of funny actually, the boyfriend / pimp actually teams up with the missing victim's parents. Now, they've never met before. Now they're in a big team.
Hey,
He's
Mom.
probably like, I'm the
Hi,
boyfriend.
Dad.
I'm definitely not the pimp. I'm totally the boyfriend.
Right.
Let's go find your daughter, please. It's kind of weird. It's like the pimp
Just
and
a
the
little.
parents,
Yep.
So the detectives go and knock on this guy's door. And he answers the door, this innocent-looking guy. He says, yes, can I help you? He's like, the detectives are like, sir, what is your name? My name's Gary Ridgeway. How can I help you? You guys heard that name before?
Should we have? Is that the serial killer?
He says, yes, this is my truck. You guys come in.
It actually
come
does
in.
sound a little familiar.
You guys come in. They came in. They searched everything.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's just the name Gary. I feel like Gary
No.
is a serial name killer.
The detectives are like, listen.
Serial killer name. Oh my god.
The detectives are like, listen, Mr. Ridgeway, would you mind coming down to the police station and doing a polygraph test for us? Just so we can rule you out. You
Nope.
know?
He passes.
He goes down there.
Oh,
They give him about 4 polygraph tests. He passes them, all of them.
but they're not always accurate.
One thing that you got to give credit for these detectives for,
He's a sociopath.
before he left, now keep in mind the DNA technology wasn't like it is today.
Right.
They asked him to chew on a gauze, like a cotton thing.
Right.
Now, the only thing they could get from someone chewing on a gauze back in the 1980s was the blood type. But now, if they had saved that gauze, which they did, because they froze it, you could get all kinds of stuff. You could get some stuff enough to catch the Golden State Killer, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, technology. Beautiful thing. So, they asked him to chew on some gauze. He did. They did notice some abnormalities with some of his personal life. For instance, he went on strike for a 3-week period in 1983. During that 3-week period, there's been no other time where the Green River Killer has been as active as he was during those 3 weeks. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Now, Gary Ridgeway, who is this guy? Well, he's a painter. He's been painting for 30 years. He's very meticulous. He works at the Kenworth Trucking Company. He can paint a truck. I guess they just paint the big rigs.
Like spray paint.
Yeah, like spray paint.
He's
but
no Van Gogh, but is he the Van Gogh of trucking?
yeah, he
painters?
is, because no, he's not the Van Gogh, but he's.
The Picasso.
All right, here's Gary Ridgeway.
He's a
The
something.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, if you go into a truck, a big rig truck that
Michelangelo.
if you look at a big rig truck that Gary Ridgway's painted, and you crawl up all the way under that exhaust pipe, you will see perfect stroke marks of paint to perfection.
Wow, how nice.
I mean, he was just a really good painter. He was the best in the business. That's why he was doing it for 30 years. I don't know. Truck painter. What do you want to say? All right, so...
Exactly, he's a truck painter.
But he was the best in his company. They did begin surveillance on him as well, but he was so low in the suspect list, it wasn't even funny. I mean, passed the polygraph test. This guy's telling the truth. Now, this was 1983. Keep that in mind. Gary Ridgeway was small, tiny man, 5'6", 150 pounds.
Oof. Really?
He did have a previous arrest in 1982 for soliciting prostitution.
Oh, well.
And also, on an unrelated note, he does fit the McDonald triad, which, do you know what that is, Jen? Mm-hmm. There's 3 things that make up the McDonald triad.
Animal cruelty, pyromania.
Is it wetting the bed?
Yeah, wetting the bed. No, the McDonald triad isn't 100% proven. A lot of serial killers fall under that, but that is not set in stone. It's a theory. It hasn't been proven one way or the other. Now, a little bit about Gary's background. He did kill small animals growing up. He did set fires constantly. When he was 6 years old, he was a bedwetter. His mother was a clean freak. Now, growing up was not very good for Gary Ridgeway. He would wet the bed constantly. His mother would haul him out of bed naked in front of his brothers after he just peed all over the bed. And she would throw him in the cold shower, butt naked. She would also be butt naked.
That's weird.
And she would make him bathe
It's kind of making sense
in front of his brothers.
Thing.
And she was fixated when she was bathing him on his genitals.
Oh, no.
Now, he was 6, 7 years old.
God, no.
Gary, around 10 or 11, after this is going on, started to like this. And he started watching his mom sunbathe. Now, his mom dressed like a
Coochie?
Prostitute?
Yeah, like a prostitute. He would watch her while she sunbathes out there, getting all tanned. It's vitamin D all over my boobs. Yeah, she's got nothing on. He's sitting in the window, daydreaming. But he ain't he's daydreaming about having sex with her, but only after
mother?
With his mother. But only after he slits her throat, then he wants to have sex with her, because that's the only way he could get away with it in his mind. To have sex with her.
So it's like an Oedipus complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's
Now,
real fucked.
the detectives
But it all fits.
The detectives went back and started asking the prostitutes, like, who is this Gary Ridgeway guy? And Nicole, if you want to read this, prostitute Tracy Martin, which is an alias, actually jumped from a truck of Gary Ridgway's. And this is what he said.
He said, I don't like whores. I've never liked whores. My mother was a whore, and I'm out to kill all whores. Didn't you know I'm the Green River Killer? I got into his pickup truck, and he put a gun to my face and said, if I didn't do this, that, and the other, I'd end up in the river like the rest of the girls. He started driving back to where the Green River is. I'm thinking, I'm not coming back. I tried everything I knew. I said, baby, you don't need to be out here paying for it. Baby, let me get your number. He lowered the gun, and I jumped out the door.
Good for
Smart
her.
girl. Now, it took her forever to go to the cops, because you're a prostitute. You know all this killing's going on, but you still don't want to go to the cops because you're a prostitute. And you could get booked for, Another prostitute that survived claimed that he couldn't get an erection, so he started choking her. And, okay, Gary Ridgeway is the killer. You guys know
Quite
that.
obvious.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Although we're talking, like, this investigation is happening in the mid-'80s about this guy. And you said it took 20 years?
He is still the lowest of the suspects
What?
during this.
I don't understand.
This is why there were marches on the street about the police not doing their job. And if you read this book, this guy, and I know he probably did his best, but shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Did he, though, if we see all these victims?
Yeah. Now, they searched Gary Ridgway's home. 50 sheriffs went out there. The only interesting items they found was maps, ropes, and plastic sheeting. Now, his brother told police, because he had a truck, a painter's truck with primer spots on it, that the reason they may not have found evidence on the carpet is because he just replaced his carpet in the truck. Let me tell you about the MO. It's going to get a little graphic. Gary Ridgway's MO sometimes he uses literatures, socks, jeans, panties, whatever he could tie. Now Nicole, you read the profile from John Douglas earlier. One of the bullet points was he's a big man, strong. Gary Ridgway is not a big man. He's not strong. He's 5'6", 160 pounds. I mean, he's stronger than a 120-pound prostitute because he did like the small and the young, the tiny prostitutes. You know.
He was just bigger than them.
Exactly. Right. There were sometimes the prostitutes were found with literatures wrapped so tightly around their neck that they had to be sawed off at the coroner station after, post-mortem. They were so tight. Now, he would kill most of the victims in his home. Gary Ridgway, the thing about the Green River Killer is you don't think he's a killer. He is not the killer type. Okay? He would take most of the women that he killed was in his own personal home. Okay? Now, he would take them and show them, the first thing he would show them is his son's room. Yeah, this is my son's room. Yada, yada, yada. And then he would kill him there.
Did he actually have a son?
Yeah, he had a son. In fact, sometimes when his son Matthew was an infant, he would cruise around the prostitution strips with his infant son and pick up prostitutes because, he was there. This isn't the Green River Killer. He's got an infant in the car. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes where he didn't have access to his infant son, he would just show baby pictures. So he would usually pose as a harmless wimp. He would pull up to the strip, the prostitution strip. He would kind of spy on the girls. He maybe have truck problems, like he'd pop the hood, trying to pretend like he's innocent. Oh, can I have your help? I'm just innocent, kind of guy. I can't hurt a fly type of thing. Here's my son, my infant son. Isn't he cute? He would just be a harmless wimp. So they would trust him because who's this guy, right? He's a little, and he ain't gonna do nothing. So he would always go for the most vulnerable women around. That was his thing. Now, he would kind of spy on them, and then people that would notice his truck, he would go, it is like he zooms in, picks up the girl, and then zooms out, like before anyone notices it. So he would be backed up where no one could see him, waiting for the perfect opportunity, drive up to the girl, get her in the car, drive off. Like, spending less time, there.
You don't want to be recognized, yeah.
Right.
He would kill the victims, usually by asphyxiation, choking them to death with all his might, usually with literature, because he wasn't strong enough to actually choke them to death. He would cut the fingernails so the detectives couldn't determine his blood type, because obviously they're scratching them. Stop, what are you doing? Scratching them all over his body, so he cut the fingernails off. He would take the bodies and he would wrap them in either pieces of carpet or plastic. He would dump them all over the Green River area. Now, here's the thing that makes him a complete fucking nightmare. He doesn't want those bodies to be found because he's not done with the bodies. Even weeks later, he's not done with them.
Oh, no.
He knows where every one of those are in his head. He's got a mental map of every one of them. And sometimes he'll revisit them. Here, if you want to read, Nicole, can you read this?
With many of his victims, Ridgway wasn't finished after they were dead and disposed. He would go back to rape their bodies, brushing away maggots if necessary.
Yucky.
So he's brushing away those maggots.
That's gross.
Yeah.
He would go, these bodies would be, when Detective Reichart pulled out the arm, trying to pull this arm out of this body, this African-American woman, instead of pulling the arm out in the body, the skin peeled back from the arm, from the elbow.
And he was having sex with that.
Yeah, he was having sex with that the whole time. Like, he would be like, fucking maggots, get away from here. God, this is mine. This is weeks later.
He would go back. What the skin would do in that area, too.
Yeah.
Like, in that area in which he is raping. Like,
so, when you think about Dennis Nielsen and stuff, like,
Yeah, this is gross.
Yeah.
Putting bodies in his floorboards and bringing them up a couple of days. This guy would go a month later.
Oh my gosh. No.
There's maggots everywhere. Just get them. Shit. Let me clear some of these maggots out of the way.
Plus
Gross.
the body fucking reeks.
Ugh. Yeah.
It's in rigor mortis, and
Some of the bodies he would actually stuff rocks into the vagina. Now, I don't know if this is to protect from the maggots getting in there.
No. This is to weigh someone down.
No, he's not. He doesn't want to submerge them mostly because he knows that they'll be all spongy then. He wants to get them where he can come back 3 weeks later and
have sex with it.
And have sex with it.
Well, then I don't know the answer to that. It's just not good news. That's all.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing why detectives are getting so much shit. You have up to 70 prostitutes being dispersed around the Green River. Not only that, but this guy is coming back and having sex with these dead bodies, and you still can't catch this motherfucker.
Did the police just not? It took the police that long to find bodies because they were. Yeah. It's not like they were like.
No, they're finding them fucking everywhere. The media was finding them. They had hired a psychic. And one of the psychics went in out there, and she tripped over a body. There were bodies everywhere.
But they were like, obviously they were picking up the bodies as they found them. But this guy would just like,
he would just go and it's like
but they wouldn't find them for weeks. He would have enough time to go back, rape the bodies before they would find them.
But holy shit, he's going around the area.
Right.
It's like,
that's kind of crazy that they would be sitting around for that long.
And he's going back to rape these bodies again. Mm-hmm. Here's why the detectives got so much shit. 50 known victims, up to 70, buried around the Green River area. He's not just dumping them. He's going back to each one of them, having sex with them again. And Ted Bundy even told him. Ted Bundy was like, listen, just be patient. If you just sit out there, that guy is going to come to the body. You could sit by a body that's out there, and he's going to come back because he wants to sexually get off in the body. If you just hang out by a dead body, he's going to come back.
You'll find him.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Wow.
And a lot of the book that I read was so much bureaucracy.
I mean, it's kind of amazing this guy even bothered to write a book when he could get a lot of shit for how he handled it.
Bureaucracy in it. Oh, you can't do this. This is my jurisdiction. No, I do it this way. Instead of just fucking sitting out there in the Green River waiting for this asshole to come back and have sex with a corpse and catching them red-handed, you don't catch them at all. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
For 20 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fucking insane. You know what's also insane?
What?
This guy was married.
Oh my God. Stop.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say he had an infant.
Oh, shit. Well, he was on his third wife. All right, let me show you.
Wow. He got married multiple times.
Yeah. All his wives said he liked to have sex all the time. I wonder why. So obviously the Women's Coalition, they formed a women's coalition for this. One headline in a paper read, "Killer is loose. Does anyone care?"
I mean, it's sad, but like at the same time.
So did he like stop killing people for a while?
Yeah, he actually did. He willed himself to stop, which is something that was thought could never happen. Everyone thinks a serial killer has a bloodlust and they have to continue doing it. When he got on, he didn't want publicity. He wanted to keep doing his hobby. I mean, this is how he lived. He didn't want publicity. When the publicity got too hot, he calmed down. You know.
So he killed between 1982 and 1980. Before he took a break? And how many people did he kill before he took a break?
He took a break in 1984, and then he remarried, or he met his wife, his third wife, and married in 1988. And here's 1988. Here's a video of her. Now, this is sad, and I'm going to say, she doesn't know her husband is the Green River Killer.
At the time of this video?
I mean, yeah, she knows now. Can you imagine, like, being a serial killer's wife?
Her story.
No.
What do you remember?
I'd probably cry.
I was in shock that day when I heard someone driving up in the driveway, and I still can't believe it, but it has happened.
And humiliating for Judith
what are you
Ridgeway,
gonna do?
the serial killer's ex-wife.
Oh, it was like a brick wall dropped in front of me, and didn't know what to do. Everything stopped.
How do you not know it?
And it feels
Anyway,
Wow.
that's his wife. That's sad, man. Like,
Yeah, that sucks. I hope if I get married, my husband doesn't turn out to be a serial killer.
Me too. So he paused for how long?
What? So 1984 is when they were really on to him.
Yeah.
They
He was a
actually,
suspect. I mean, down
he
at
was,
the bottom
yeah,
of the list.
he
was
eventually got to the number one suspect. Okay, so in 1988, he marries Judith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he wasn't actually arrested November 30th, 2001.
Oh my gosh. So that means the entire time, but not
so
just.
So his first murder was 1982. He didn't get arrested until 2001.
But even for Judith though, okay, so 1988 they got married, so that entire time that she was with him, he was killing people.
Well, he killed most of his
stopped?
people. No, he killed most of the people from 1982 to 1984. Then he stopped, married Judith, and he killed, I think, 4 more people when he was with Judith. Because Judith, in one of her videos, says, I felt so betrayed when the detective showed me that she found condoms, a secret stash in his truck, and then detectives found a secret stash of condoms in her car, like in the top of the car, you know, where the felt stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were like, listen, your car was probably used as a murderer.
Oh my gosh, saw that
Yeah, right?
Burn it.
And so,
shit. Yeah, burn it.
and and in one of her videos, I think
No
is this
ghost
video, she
costumes.
says she feels so betrayed,
Yeah.
you know.
I would feel betrayed too.
But so she was only around for about 4 murders. He committed all those other murders before, but these are just...
So he committed like 65 murders.
They got him... Everyone thinks he's about 70 murders.
with most of them still being within that 82 to 84 time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot.
And a couple.
Now, when he was finally arrested...
Wow.
He was arrested in 2001. He spent 30 years painting trucks at the same company. One day after work, they arrested him.
Wow.
On 4 charges of... They could only pin 4 charges from the first DNA from those first bodies. Now, here's the thing. His defense attorneys, it's 2001.
Insanity.
No, not insanity. Oh, you found my client's DNA from his sperm inside this prostitute? Yeah, he wasn't a killer. He was a customer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? It's true. They didn't find anything at his house. There's all kinds of DNA on these prostitutes. How the fuck are you going to pin this on them? They got him locked up. They either find something else besides the DNA, or they have to let him walk.
Oof.
He was about to walk. Now, luckily for the detectives, DNA has rapidly caught up and advanced within those few months.
Wow.
Now, what they actually did was they found what they call now trace evidence, very, very minute particles. This is why contamination of a crime scene is so important not to do.
Right.
They found trace evidence of paint.
Ah.
And who works at a fucking painting shop, right? He's a truck painter. So they matched those paint. They did a complete DNA analysis and matched the paint. And they could actually place the prostitutes at his home
Wow.
with the exact paint. The only trucking company in the world that uses this exact hue of paint was the ones they found on the victims. Now they got him, right?
I mean, or that he was a
But when he was arrested in 2001, he told his wife, Judith, they did this before. They got the wrong guy. I'll be out in like 2 days. This is stupid. They got the wrong guy until they presented that evidence, but they almost lost him again.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Again?
I mean, because they didn't DNA. Oh yeah. My semen's in a prostitute. So it was like 10 other guys. Like, what are you guys done yet? You know what I'm saying?
So how did they end up pinning all of these people to him? Well, I guess it was just the same MO, so they knew it had to be him after all. Or did he end up confessing to any of these people?
He ended up confessing.
Wow.
He confessed to all of them. Let me show you this. Run through these little videos right quick.
Today at approximately 3 p.m.,
that's Reichardt.
Detectives from the King County Sheriff's Office arrested a 52-year-old man for investigation of homicide. The man arrested is Gary Leon Ridgeway. Once he's taken to jail and he's got attorneys, they can start to build their defense.
Mr. Ridgeway, his plea is not guilty to all charges.
And their defense
not
was,
guilty.
We recognize
Do you know he
after
confessed
talking
to
to her.
some?
Huh?
He
He confessed after.
Yeah, he confessed after.
Oh, he's a congressman now.
Yeah, he is. All right, so now he confessed after they got that. And here's why he confessed. Because his defense attorneys were like, listen, they probably got you on this shit. So here's their new thing. You're going to confess to everything you've done, and we're going to get you out of the death penalty, the execution. Because, and I didn't think this was, when we first started this podcast, I thought that was stupid. I mean, he deserves to die, right?
Yeah.
But also,
the families deserve
exactly the families. So the stipulation with the plea bargain he's got was, you, sir, will live like a rat in a cage and avoid the death penalty completely until you die if you confess to every murder you've done and every murder we don't have on the books, which is up to 70. They only got 48 on the books. And confess to every murder and show us the bodies, which will give the family closure, because there are women that were not registered as a Green River killing. They were just missing.
Yeah.
And those families are still wondering where their daughters are at.
Yeah.
But now they know, because Gary Ridgeway says, this is where so Detective Reichardt called it kind of like writing with Ridgeway. So they would put him in this little cell, and then for like 6 months, every day they would take him out to some random location somewhere, and he would direct the cops on where to go and show them exactly where he buried the bodies.
So did he identify 70 bodies? Or did he only identify 48? I'm just confused about which is the...
He identified 48, yeah.
He directed the driver exactly down the right roads.
At this light, take a right.
There was no wrong turns anywhere.
The park is straight ahead.
We get into the park. He goes right to a spot that I was at years earlier. And he said,
Right in here's where I killed her.
Jesus. Right in here's where I killed her. What the fuck?
So callous.
Why did you like killing people?
Just hated women, and they're the vulnerable people to do it.
I mean, it's just so hard to describe. It's surreal.
It felt good to kill a woman. It felt good to take their life, and
It was like looking into the eyes of pure evil.
Yeah, so like, what a sight to see. He was in front of the judge. They all knew he was going to confess to 48 murders. So it was 48 names. The judge was like, victim number 1, guilty. Victim number 2, like the names, guilty. And 48 times he said guilty, 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 guilty. He got 48 life sentences consecutive without parole, but he avoided the death penalty. He's still alive. He's 69.
Is he really?
Yeah, I think he's 69.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow. Is he the most prolific serial killer in the United States?
I mean, he's one of them, yeah. I mean, Richard Cottingham, the episode we did was probably maybe more, but...
More than 70?
I can't remember how many he was.
So, yeah, that is my story of the Green River Killer.
Wow.
And if you guys... I'm putting all the links and stuff on patreon.com for our Patreon supporters. Join the conversation. That's patreon.com/talkmurder. Support us if you love what we're doing. If this episode was... you love this episode and you want to see more and more and more and more and have an episode done for you, maybe a hometown murder, let me know. Join our Patreon. And this was my Green River Killer murder.
Wow. Really, really cool case. Thank you, John, for doing all your research on that. Thanks, guys, as always, for listening to Talk Murder to Me. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope that you will be looking forward to future episodes. Right.
And so it got a lot of applause. Like there was a lot of feedback that people would go to inappropriate sites on their Wi-Fi, including ones that were like included child pornography.
Pornhub, X-Hamster, RedTube.
Would you care to keep going with all the places that you go to in your spare time?
No, okay.
That's what he does in the room all day.
So,
in that chair right there, Jen.
Ew.
I'm just kidding, Jen.
So
I don't know anymore.
So one of
your microphone used to be black, now it's white.
Ew, shut up.
Ew.
That's gross. I'm sure you don't do it in here. It's probably only in your bedroom. Although he does close the door.
All the time. I mean, I close the door all the time. That's because dogs fucking in and out, in and out,
Sure.
in and out. And wait to give you your presents.
Really? Because I can't wait to give you guys your gifts.
I worked hard on thinking what you want.
I'm really...
It's good.
Is it? Mm-hmm. I think you guys are going to like yours too.
Well, Jen, I better, because I'm going to be really pissed if I don't.
One of them I'm pretty sure you're going to like. The other one I'm also pretty sure you're going to like.
You made me want to buy a third one just to make sure, you know.
Do you know how much money I have left in my account? Because this party cost me so much.
And plus, like, I don't cover a lot of female serial killers because it's like women's basketball. Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, Ted Bundy.
Excuse me, I played basketball. And you know what's funny is that I always have, like, you guys know how I, like, have vivid dreams?
Yes.
Like, I always have dreams where I'm, like, playing for my high school basketball team again. Except I'm like...
Were those the times of your life?
No, because my fucking coach sat me on the bench my senior year, and...
What a dick.
He was a dick. He was a dick. And, like, me and my friend, who I can't say names because we can't mention names, but, like, so me and my friend who was also a senior, we never got to play. And it was so bogus because we were both good. Like, I'm going to toot my own horn. Like, I was a good basketball player and I never got to play. Like, I played, okay, we had senior night, right? Which was the last home game of the season. And I played in the first quarter and that was it. He did not let me play the whole senior night game. Like, he played me for, like, maybe 5 minutes of the first quarter, and I sat the rest of the game.
What a dick.
He was a dick. I hope you're listening to this, coach.
Even I don't want to taste your balls.
Why? I shaved them the other day.
Ew.
And my coin purse.
Stop.
You know what a coin purse is, Jen?
Isn't that just your balls?
No, it's like the gooch area where you can actually
What's the gooch?
The gooch is between your balls and your butthole. You can put a quarter up there if you need to save your money.
All right,
let's try
that.